Welcome everybody! This video presents ways to recognize polarizing speech and transform it in 4 steps from the battle of competing opinions into a constructive dialogue, where different views are included in a respectful manner. This would help to reduce the divide between opposing views and to foster understanding of genuine concerns of all sides. In this video, we use examples of speech that deal with climate change, where one side of the opposition advocates for urgent action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, while the opposing side downplays the significance of the issue or questions the science behind it. Step 1. Avoid demeaning language. In a polarized speech, parties have fixed positions and argue in favor of the views and attack the opponents with the aim of winning the argument. When one side of the conflict argues that people who refuse to accept climate change live in the dark ages, evidence is overwhelming, how can anyone deny it? Then this argument ignites the discussion and the opponents are stimulated to respond with a similar counterattack, using similar demeaning language, by saying, if anyone would think with their brains, they'd see that the so-called climate crisis is exaggerated. As a result, both parties use polarizing language in the form of demeaning terms or insulting name-calling against the opposing side. Such speech needs to be depolarized in 2 phases. First, we need to identify the demeaning and insulting terms typically used in the discussion of the polarizing topic, and then talk about the topic without these terms. Avoiding derogatory name-calling decreases defensiveness and blame and discourages parties from taking more extreme positions. Step 2. Abandon the binary of polar opposites. We need to reconceive the issue from plural viewpoints instead of conflicting polar opposites of views and groups. In polarized speech, parties argue that humanity or the planet suffers because there are those, elites, populists, experts, or others, who do not want to do the right thing. The issue is seen as a fixed problem with one solution for all. However, this simple binary becomes more complex when we take into account the real needs, concerns, and experiences that are behind the views of the conflicting sides. If one side is concerned with workers who might lose jobs, and the other about clean water, then in more detailed discussion they both are likely to recognize some shared concern also, as all care for clean water and all agree with the principle that the transition to climate neutrality should be fair for all. Step 3. Seek solutions through an open-ended process. After having gone beyond the us versus them mentality, the parties start to recognize the complexity of the issue and stop seeking for simple one-size-fits-all answers. They recognize and distinguish short-term social and economic challenges, long-term benefits such as reduced healthcare costs from cleaner air, as well as how different communities and groups are affected by transition policies. As a result, the dialogue will be more open-ended, inclusive and oriented toward collective understanding of the most balanced approach. Step 4. Express your own feelings and validate the authentic feelings of others. We experience a degree of emotional discomfort when we have a conversation with people holding beliefs and views opposite to our own. Feelings have a significant role in both polarizing and depolarizing speech. Expressions of feelings contribute to depolarization of speech when they are directed not at igniting the debate and demeaning of the opponent, but for conveying one's own experience and position in the matter and for validating empathically the feelings of others, without necessarily agreeing with their views and positions. For example, People can express their worries about the economic consequences of rapid policy changes for workers and industries, and those who are advocating for swift policy changes in climate politics will be more persuasive when they acknowledge and take into consideration what people in general are known to be anxious about regarding their jobs or enterprises. In some, difficult topics and conflicts of opinion are challenging for all, because they stir up controversies and strong emotions around issues that matter. With each depolarizing step presented, the interaction between conflict parties becomes less confrontational and exclusionary. Differences of views and opinions persist, but negotiation of disagreements will be more respectful, conversation more meaningful, and the outcomes more balanced.